What's up everyone and welcome back to the channel. It's me, Cards at the Ball, bringing you more Infinite Magicraid content, and we're going to be covering Zia, which everyone's been asking me about. I love Zia. They want to know what I use on my Zia that makes her so effective, especially in that arena team video I did last week where she was nuking down enemies. I'm going to tell you now, I prefer Zia than Megan. They do work hand in hand together, but Zia to me is just an absolute beast across the board, and you're gonna know why. But before you know why, make sure you click like and subscribe and leave some comments below. I appreciate everyone's support. Thank you everyone for watching my content. Let's get into it. So firstly, we're gonna go through Zia's skills. Now obviously mine is upgraded exclusive, and I will talk about that and how much it makes a difference to Zia. If you have the eyes, you must use Zia. She is just so freaking awesome. She's so freaking awesome. So first things first is her Broken Snow ultimate ability. She deals 600% attack damage to a single enemy. That increases up to 720% with a cooldown -1, which makes it a 4-turn cooldown. Her exclusive level 3 Broken Snow resets its cooldown and increases self-turn meter by 50% when it inflicts a kill. Zia acts one more turn if she is under concentration increase status at the time. We'll get to concentration status increase in a moment, but first we're going to look at her passive. Now her passive, Shadow of Master. Each time Zia takes action, she has a 60% chance to pursue and attack the target with the lowest health once, dealing 200% attack damage. This chance is increased up to 100% once you've leveled it up. So this is going to happen every time. It's massive, it's huge, it's a lot of damage, okay? At exclusive 2 though, deals 50% of the damage dealt by this skill to all enemies other than the target of attack, and that is massive itself. It's AoE damage, and trust me, she can do a lot of damage, and it does crit. Next up is concentration increase. Increases self 40% crit rate and 60% damage for 1 turn. This effect, it can't be removed. It cannot be removed. She cannot be CC'd. There is nothing you can do when she is in this state. Once it's leveled up, it increases our crit damage by a further 50%. And the cooldown is -1, making this a 3-turn cooldown. You should be using this before anything else. This is your go-to skill, okay? Because it activates so much more, and you can see that it works with Broken Snow. Because at exclusive 3, she gets an extra turn if it gets a kill, while concentration increase is active. So those two work hand in hand, and you should be using it everywhere anyway because it increases your crit rate and crit damage with 1 turn. It's just so good. If you have Focus, you can cast concentration increase, and then you can Focus her straight into an ultimate as long as he's a little bit slower. It's massive. It will clear you a lot of content. Her basic as well is pretty strong. It does a decent amount of damage, 300% to be exact once it's upgraded to a single enemy, and reduces the cooldown of concentration increase and Broken Snow by 1 turn. So it doesn't just attack, it's also reducing our cooldowns on these, and they're pretty small anyway. It means that she's going to be nuking a lot. Now, how do we build Zia? You can see here in the details that it's actually recommending attack, crit rate, crit damage, which is actually very accurate. As you can see, I have 65% crit rate, which is a little bit high. When she's self-buffed, she has 100% crit rate. This is your goal, to make sure that she's at 60% crit rate, so you're always critting. Crit damage as high as you can get it. Attack is sort of after crit damage. I always prioritize my crit rate, crit damage above attack. So make sure you're focusing these two, because the way that the crit damage scales is just so big. So let's go into gear, and what sets do we use on her? Ideally, you're going to want to use a Slay set because it's crit rate and crit damage. However, if you don't have that and you're early on, you're going to want to lean towards crit rate and crit damage. As you can see, I have this here, crit damage set and a crit rate set. Now you're going to want to really focus for crit rate and crit damage on these set pieces. That is your main objective. I'm in the way. Let me move myself over. I'm going to move myself into the middle for this bit, actually. So speed obviously is very nice on the boots. The higher the rarity, the higher the star rarity, not the gear rarity. The higher the base stat. Now, crit rate and crit damage was on these. It was a legendary piece. It did unfortunately roll into crit rate and health rate. So I was a bit gutted about that, but the crit rate is still nice. It's still useful. It can be replaced in the future. We are aiming for perfect pieces, but we can't always get them, and this is a prime example. It's still usable. As for her neck, it's just a base 6-star elite piece that had speed and crit damage. Now the reason I rolled this is because I wanted to hit into crit damage. Speed is also helpful in PvP and PvE because we need to be faster than the enemies. Now my armor piece is crit damage and crit rate. It rolled twice into crit rate, so I was happy, and the extra roll into crit damage. So this is actually quite a solid piece. It's a shame about the effect resistance, but we cannot, we can't help that. Ideally, you do want a 6-star weapon. Unfortunately, I don't have a 6-star weapon right now with better substats than these. Crit rate, crit damage, and speed. I just don't. I would love to have crit rate, crit damage, attack rate, and speed, but I don't have it available. Now onto the artifacts. Always choose crit rate. If your crit rate is maxed, choose crit damage. So you've got a bit of play there. Obviously, the higher the stars, the higher the base rate. It's amazing. Speed, I chose on this, or I rolled on this, should we say, but I rolled on it to begin with because it had speed and attack rate. So either way it went, I was always benefiting. It did roll some flat attack and effect hit, which is pointless. On Zia, this will be replaced, and ideally it's going to be replaced by a crit damage piece because the percentage is just higher. Onto the second artifact, I have attack on her. It rolled bad, yes it did roll bad, but I will be choosing attack on this, nothing else, only attack, because I really want to be boosting her as high as I can, as much damage as I can. Considering we're not really focusing attack in our substats other than attack rate percent, this does help our percentage increase on that. Ideally it would have rolled into attack rate, but it didn't. If you can get crit rate and crit damage, fantastic. On the final piece, you're always going to want to roll speed on any character. I say this in any video, you're always going to want to choose speed because it's so important that you go first. Ideally, you're looking for crit rate, crit damage, and attack rate. Obviously, I rolled HP rate, which is just the way it goes. That is it for your build on Zia. So if you can choose Slay, fantastic. If you can't, then crit damage and crit rate are very good. Later on, though, you may consider going for the vampire set. Having her leech as well at the same time is also very nice because she does a lot of damage, so you can think she's going to heal a lot. Let's move on to her emblems. Now, her emblems, I do actually have her completed and this is my best build currently. For Zia, I choose attack and defense. I could have gone support, but there's just not a lot of her to benefit from in there. Whereas in defense, we can benefit a little bit. If you want to go ahead and snip on the left here, you feel free. But let's go through some of these first. I'm going to move myself back, guys. I hope you don't mind. Now, attack. Crit rate is obviously my choice. I could remove this, considering I am at 65% crit rate. I could remove this and go for attack rate to increase this, but I haven't yet. We choose when self health is full, damage dealt is increased because we're normally going first. When attacking a target with a shield, damage dealt is increased, which can help us break those shields sooner. Before the end of the first turn of each wave, direct damage dealt is increased. Practice makes perfect. Direct damage dealt in the next turn for every target killed. Now she's going to kill a lot of targets. It doesn't stack, okay? It doesn't stack, but it is more damage dealt. As you can see here, I have gone more into 2 defense here than these two because self is above, the damage is dealt is increased, yes, and DOT doesn't really matter on this. But for targets under control status, direct damage dealt is increased, and I do use a Cindo. When attacking targets whose health is higher than self, damage dealt is increased. A lot of heroes are going to be higher than our health. When attacking targets with less than 50% health, direct damage dealt. This is when they're getting lower and we need to nuke them down. Bosses, for instance. I chose crit damage because obviously I want us slapping as hard as we can. We just want to nuke the hell out of things. You could, however, have chose support street and gone for speed if you were really looking at PvP. Let's have a look at our defense tree. Our defense is increased here. I chose this over effect resistance. You can choose either or. That's completely up to you. Effect resistance is very nice. But my reasoning for this is because when she goes into her concentration ability, she cannot have any dots land on her. She can't have any control on her. She is resistant. So that's why I chose a defense increase. Damage reflect is always very nice. Before the end of the first turn, each wave effect resistance is up. So if we have used our concentration increase and we're starting to, the first wave, we're always going to have this. After that, she's going to have a infect resistance increase. When self is higher than 50%, tenacity is increased, which means she's taking less crit damage. Control resistance at 12% for after we've used and everyone's not dead. If that's the case, then we have a bit of control resistance here. Also, when self health is reduced by 25% or more by direct damage of a single skill, she restores some health. So if she's getting nuked or someone's targeting her, she's going to heal back a bit, which is always very helpful. That is it once again for Zia's emblems and how I best build her. Others will have other opinions. This is my build. If you have a better build, please do share with me. Say, Kazak, yo, you're wrong. This is the best way to build her. Do this, do this. Don't do what you're doing. Do this. I will always listen, okay? I'm always open to criticism, especially if it's constructive. I'm always open to constructive criticism, guys. Please do. If you can criticize me, make it constructive. Now, let's go on to the auras. I have chosen Victory Rush Aura because it increases the damage dealt. This effect additionally increases by 50% for targets under control status. Now, if you're using the likes of a Cinder, especially in PvP, this is going to be huge because it's going to be increasing the damage dealt enough as it is. And it's going to be pretty friggin' massive. You can always use Frenzied Bloodlust Aura when landing a crit. This attack has a certain amount of leash. It's going to be very nice, but I want to be nuking down characters. I will use this in certain situations though. It could be very nice in campaign, for instance, for her to some self-sustainability. Now, if you do have purples, Accurate Harvester Aura is very nice because it increases the self-turn meter by a certain percentage when inflicting a kill. Remember, she also does gain an extra turn with her exclusive free though, so bear this in mind. It could actually counteract what we're doing. Bold Confidence Aura is probably my favourite. The crit damage here is huge. Gains 4.5% more crit rate when self-health is above 90%. So we could actually sacrifice some crit rate and put it all into crit damage. And this would work as long as she's above 90% though, guys. Now, if you're lucky enough to have Legend Auras, you're either going to want to choose a Boss Slayer Aura. I mean, it deals a lot of direct damage, and it also increases your damage dealt to bosses by a certain amount. This Bloodthirst Aura is also very nice for self-sustainability. It's doubled when landing a crit, and she's going to be critting a lot. The Shield Smash Aura is nice. It has a piercing rate ability, and it gains a certain amount more attack when she has a shield. So if you're using her with shielders, then that's also very, very nice. Obviously, the Arena Dominator Aura, which doubles in speed when we're in Arena, is super, super nice, and it means that we're going to be going very fast. So if you can get this as well, you can mix and match, guys. Use what aura you need to use. We will go through her exclusives one last time. I didn't cover them earlier because I was talking about them in the actual review. So we will do the exclusive reviews now, and they are massive. At level 1, she additionally increases piercing rate by 30%, and Zia gains immunity to control effects while this skill is in effect. That's on a concentration increase at level 1. Level 2, Shadow of Master deals 50% of the damage dealt by this skill to all enemies other than the target of attack. That is a lot of damage dealt, extra AoE, so she can be so much more effective in wave clearing. Level 3 resets its cooldown and increases self-turn meter by 50% when it inflicts a kill. Zia acts one more turn if she is under concentration increase at the time. Remember, you're going to buff with concentration increase, you're going to nuke with Broken Snow, and then you've got another chance either to use Broken Snow again, or you can self-buff with concentration increase, depending if it's available. Obviously, the increase to speed is nice, and the other stats there for exclusivity. So if you can do it, great, fantastic, guys. I'm Kazak. Thank you for watching. Like, subscribe, comment. I'll see you all soon.